Hello and welcome to another episode of the Growing Full Circle podcast. I am your host, Dominique Skates, and thank you for joining me. I am recording this on November 7th, 2024 at 7:54 a.m. in Los Angeles, California. And it's more than likely that I will publish this episode as I normally publish my podcast the same day that I record this. However, I want to bring significance to this date as it could be monumentous in terms of how reality could change. America has elected a dictator for its president named Donald Trump. And it's interesting to see how life is going to now change because of it. So it's been 2 days since the election, and it's taken some time to process what has happened. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that in this episode. But as you can see from the title, this episode is going to be about God. And if you know the MAGA movement, you'll know there's a lot of talk about God. And I want to get into it. So stick around and let's grow together. First off, this isn't a political podcast, and I'm not going to get too much into policies. This podcast is about character, authenticity, being in reality, realness, not cultural bias, not political jargon. Like, you're not going to get any of that here. We're going to talk about the message, the intent. Like, the thing for me as I ingest media that really is bothersome is that I feel people don't ask the tough questions. And there's a way to ask tough questions when your heart is coming from a loving place. So those tough questions don't feel so tough. And I don't know if it's a skill or a lack of willingness, or because the other sides are so dense and stubborn that people avoid, those follow-ups that will really nail down meaning and purpose and intent. So as a person who actively practices being a good person, it is so bothersome to me when I see the opposite. Now, as we are living in a world where America has chosen to side with perspectives that align with whiteness, with Christian nationalism. Christian nationalism is inherently conservative towards whiteness, that it is the holiness within chosen by God. It is ingrained in their rhetoric. Like, there needs to be deeper conversation into the intentions of policies, the intention of people's thoughts and feelings. I understand we need to put energy into reacting, into, fighting, implementing our own ideas, trying to meet force with force. And that's not the way that my God has ingrained in me how to communicate with itself. And I want to get to what that means in a minute. But as we are referencing this entire MAGA movement within this country, and I want to address the movement, the people behind it, not just the president that they've chosen to elect. Because if we look at Trump, you can tell any intelligent person who can understand language, words, who has some type of knowledge and information on body language, like, it's clear that man is a puppet. The things that he says are so repetitive. It's not like it's a personality. A personality is so vibrant in a way that it changes with moments. It's a reaction to internal stimuli. But when Donald Trump is on stage, it is this rehearsed. It's not a speech. It's a rehearsed personality, like a puppet, saying these common words all the time, like good, the best, the worst, we did better, but can never go into any detail on what is good, what is bad, what is better, what is worse. These are conversations that I have with children. What is fair? What is unfair? Those memes with this man in bibs and pacifiers is so on point. But understand, this is bigger than Trump. Because we had an election, and someone who stands up there and says hurtful things about pretty much everybody and it's being chosen to be ignored because there's this perception of whatever your excuse is. And the common thing that I've seen through it all is this idea that this was something that was prophesized or sent in this way, where we don't realize how much control and power that we have as individuals. When we look at the electoral map and look at the demographics, we can understand how America is, how it's always been. there are a few things that have shaped this society in these ways. The primary thing that the thing that gets a lot of attention is racism. This idea of black and white. We're not even talking about how diverse America is when we talk about Asians, Latinos, everybody else. Not even gonna go into that. But it's viewed in black and white. It's like this unwritten competition. And I'm not even, and saying unwritten sounds fictitious. Like it's written. Like everybody knows it. It's just no one has the balls to truly address the issue, to truly see what's that underlying issues. Racism is a byproduct of those issues. It's not just the singular source. It's a tool to divide. It's a tool that creates this society that they have chosen to live in, but it is not the totality of the reality of our issues. Another component is our capitalistic mindset and this idea of being better than one another. When we think about what are we going to do and strive for in life, people automatically just think about what they can attain through purchases. When we think about happiness, it's about accumulating things. We have reached this point where we have amassed so many things. We just need to show it off. And if somebody else has something different or something that you feel is of more value, then you feel like they are better than you, that they are doing better in life. What does doing better in life mean? What the fuck is that? I thought life was about enjoyment, experiences. We all should have the right to be able to have food, water, and shelter. Other than that, why are we striving to have a sweater better than the next motherfucker? It's a sweater. It keeps us warm. Yeah, it's hot. It's fly. Yes, you look good. Please appreciate looking good. But looking good should be a reflection of how you feel on the inside. Looking good shouldn't make you feel that way on the inside. Because when you take that off and become naked, you are scared and fearful because you don't have love for yourself on the inside. So you try to mask it with material gain, material wealth. Even when you don't have material things, there's this perception with people that they don't want anyone getting ahead of them because it makes it feel like they are a step back from amassing material wealth. You can even see it when we are driving on the freeway. Everyone goes at their speed, their pace, until they feel like someone else wants to get in front of them. Then it's a race. It's not about going at your speed anymore. It's about making sure that no one gets ahead of you. This election was about people choosing to ensure that other people don't get ahead of them. It's a lack of self-love. Another component of this society, outside of this desire to be superior than another, is our instinctive survival nature. We feel like if we have less, we're not going to survive. If we don't amass, we're not going to survive. There's no trust and faith in one another. There's a loss of connection to humanity. We have divided God into favorability. The selfishness and greed of surviving has divided God's love. The God that we preach loves all, but in times of strife or pain, we say, my God is not responsible. Your God is not my God. My God views us as better than you. It's inherent. God is on my side. And in this modern day, we love to attribute technology for a lot of our faults and ills, and some of it rightfully so. A lot of businesses have preyed on young people a lot of the times, or people just not knowledgeable, and have used that for their whatever greedy purposes that they have. But at the end of the day, they have shed a light on what people feel as they express that, and it is just a platform for everyone to see and to bring awareness to the troubles that everyone is going through. And as an empath, it hurts. And I don't want to sit up here and blame organized religion, but something has happened within translation where people have not gotten the message. And that's what I want to get into today. So what I am experiencing in regards to the message that Christian nationalists are pushing on America is that America is a Christian nation. And it's not. The reason that I feel this is being pushed so hard in this way is because the ideas or the ideals, the ideology of the religion is fading. People are choosing not to be Christians. People are choosing to explore other routes, and it has shaken the foundation of their perspective. They want to go back to basically forcing people to believe what they believe is right and moral. It's a controlling mechanism, and it's through nobody's fault other than the people who were misguided in their translation of what the message of Jesus was, or simply are using it for nefarious purposes knowingly. Regardless, the people who follow it need to be informed and understand that God is loving. God is not controlling. And I'm saying this from the perspective of someone who has experienced God, who continues to connect to source energy, who has an understanding of unconditional love as I've been enveloped in it. That's not something that I've taken lightly. In my life, I've learned that everyone is connected, yet somehow I was asked to have understanding and to spread that. And that's what I've chosen to do. And that is not the message that I've received. There has, and I'm going to say this for both sides, there's this idea that God is going to save us. And it's true, but not in the way that they represent it from their rhetoric. It is, in this implication is, there's this perspective that like Jesus Christ is going to just float down and heal everything, or be reincarnated and rebirthed in someone and come back and say, I'm Jesus reincarnated. I'm here to heal everyone. And everyone just becomes saved. And I think that is childish to think. I believe the message is more aligned with, let's just look at the facts. We could look at the logic of understanding what's happening. And the logic is that Jesus was a real person. It is historically known that he existed. That's not something that we're disputing. And not even going to go into race, demographics, nothing like that. But on the basis that he was real, and the basis on, let's say, I know there are people who will argue it, but let's, for example, say that everything that you believe within your religion about Jesus is true, that the miracles performed, all of it was given by God and experienced by those who experienced it. Facts. Okay. Then he died. And he left us with so much knowledge and information and ascended. And the purpose was for us to take that in, embody it, represent it, and be that unconditional love for all that Jesus wanted us to be. But somewhere, I feel a lot of people have gotten confused, and instead of embodying the word and putting that action within themselves, they have sat back and waited for the Savior to come and save them. And this has been going on for eons. They have been waiting, spending their days, making calculations about, this is going to be the time. I've done the math. I've read the scriptures. This is when he's coming back. And what I've come to learn is that he never left. When we die, we don't leave. Our bodies go. You lose access to us in this form, but we don't leave our energy. for me, God is everything. God is us. I'll explain it in a very logical way. Even in religious texts, they talk about how God is within everyone. And if we want to look at it in this physical reality way, it's more like we are inside of God. As God is this massive, infinite universe that we exist in. And if you ever seen one of those gifts that show you how expansive and big the universe is, it could put your mind within a perspective or mindset to reframe it in this, or shape it in this way where you can perceive how infinite God truly is. It's synonymous with the universe as we are inside of it. It is all, we are it, we are a part. And being these conscious beings that we are, we're able to reconnect to source and be a part of all existence. Now, don't get too lost here. As we talk about saving ourselves, there's nothing to save ourselves from other than the torment and the fear that we feel that exists within us. God is already has already hugged everyone in its epic universal arms. And we are like struggling to get out of it for some reason. Instead of allowing our beings to sink and embrace its love and recognize that love in everything. That's every person, every plant, every animal, every fungus, regardless of what it does to us. Respect it, approach it with love. You can be aggressive with love. You can eliminate with love. It's about how we are loving. It truly expends a lot of energy for me to discuss how deep and passionate it is to truly love unconditionally. I hurt for America because by choosing the president that they have, it shows that they lack empathy. It shows that they are choosing greed and selfishness. They're choosing to ignore that they are going to be affected tremendously. There's only going to be a small percentage of people who are going to benefit. And I, for one, will continue to extend my love and extend my grace and give my time and support to whomever needs it, whoever seeks it. I have no fear in having a conversation. We could talk about ideas and perspectives, intentions, purpose, love, God, whatever. Sex. What is taboo for y'all where y'all so scared that y'all can't use your voice to speak up and voice how you feel? I've had such anger all my life because I've had this intuition that keeps telling me when people are not authentic. and I see the fear in people. Y'all are so scared. And me, I feel like I try so hard to reach my hand out to say, look, I can help you. And there's fear. And all I can do is meet fear with love. Because that's how I learned to battle my own fear. So I'm here. I'm fighting. I'm with you. I love you. God will save us. But God is already here. It's time for us to continue to do the work. Continue to live in high vibrations. Be expressive. Be loving. Be caring. Have the conversation. Remove fear. Remove anger. Open your mind. Open your hearts. Open your eyes. Money is not your savior. Love is. Thank you for making it this far in my rant. I truly appreciate the listen. Hopefully there was something in there that you could take away from it, or were just simply entertained by the message. However, this is a great place for me to wrap. If you didn't hear throughout the show, I'm getting notifications that I forgot to mute. So I will definitely remember that for the next show. But thank you again for taking the time to listen to the podcast. I know in my previous episode, I mentioned we're going to have a guest. I am in talks with them. We are planning the show, and we'll get that out to you as soon as we are able. And I think it's going to be a fun one. We have great chemistry, so I think the audience you're going to appreciate the conversation, and we're going to have a lot of fun. So until next time, I will see you again, hopefully. And yeah, have a wonderful day, and let's continue to grow together. So stay blessed, stay loved, hug your family, and stay safe out there. Peace.